The roads winding through the snow-capped mountains are treacherous and testing. Dangers can arise at almost any moment. But fortune favors the bold, and the travelers on the Silk Road have never lacked the spirit of adventure. Mountains and valleys, wars and chaos have never stopped people's desire to seek a better future in pastures new. This has never been truer than today, when the demand to revive the glory of the ancient Silk Road seems more urgent than at any other time in the last 1,000 years. The Palmier Mountains are sometimes called the Palmier Nut, since 5 great mountain ranges radiate from it. In May, nomadic herdsmen gather with their yaks by the foot of the Muztagh Ata, ready to head to their summer pastures. The roads ahead of them have only just become passable again after the winter. Kashgar is 3,100 meters above sea level. It sits right in the heart of the Palmiers, the eye of the nut. Traditional cultures and lifestyles are cherished here.
4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
The Kashgar Arts Troupe was founded 50 years ago to promote Tajik music and dance. Almost every soloist singer is a local celebrity. Ali, 26, is an instrumental accompanist to the troupe. Compared to the singers, his star is somewhat dimmed. He dreams that one day, he too can become an established solo singer. It's a dream no less challenging than crossing the Palmiers alone. To improve his singing, he needs to leave Kashgar to study in the city. But Ali is married and has a family to look after. His top priority is to repair the house before the rainy season arrives. The name Palmiers means Broad Valley Terrace, an accurate description of the topography of the area. Getting around here is somewhat easier than in the neighboring regions. The roads through the Palmiers are usually tucked away high in the mountains, up to 6,000 meters above sea level. It was through these roads that Buddhism was introduced to China and that silk traveled in the other direction to an eager world. 300 kilometers away is Kashgar, one of the greatest cities on the Silk Road. The city, built by an oasis, has been an important center of commerce throughout most of its history. Today, Kashgar is one of China's special economic zones. Today's travelers and traders on the Silk Road are transported through the mountains in rather greater comfort than the past. Wang Jianping is a driver for a long-distance international bus service. He has for many years been toing and froing on the roads of the Karakoram Mountains. They are as familiar to him as the back of his own hand. For some, this is their starting point. For others, their final destination. The tea houses of Kashgar are where travelers have time to relax and exchange the news they have picked up on the road. A scene that remains unchanged since ancient times. Whether coming or going, Kashgar opens its gates to people from all walks of life. Malik is a merchant trader from Pakistan who has decided to start a new life in Kashgar. It's a scene that must have been repeated numerous times throughout history. Just like the bazaar traders of ancient days, Malik tries to attract visitors to the evening market to buy his perfumes. With its strategic location on the westernmost extreme of China's section of the Silk Road, Kashgar can rank itself with the ports of the south and east. Commerce in the city is busier now than at any time in its long history. Products from China's mainland are continuously shipped in, on, and through to Central Asia and beyond. It keeps the Karakoram Highway across the Palmiers, the highest high road in the world, busy. The many different faces are key to understanding its many different tales. The highway coincides with the old southern leg of the Silk Road, which leads down to India. At 1,224 kilometers in length, it's not only the highest, but also one of the most expensive roads in the world. 2 years ago, an earthquake left the high road paralyzed in its wake. The repair work is a long and complex project. Landslides have created a barrier lake of 11 kilometers long and up to 90 meters deep. To get around this obstacle, trucks are unloaded and the goods transferred temporarily to barges. Zhao Yue Chao is in charge of reopening one section of blocked highway.
别人问我爸为什么取名字是这个，我爸就跟他说我年轻的时候走了很多，但是没走够，我想当时让他继续走。参加这个工作之后，我就跟他说，我说我现在随你的心愿了。我确实走了很多地方，起码绕地球的赤道也得转几圈了，估计。
Repairing the damage to the road is an urgent task. A year ago, Zhao and his colleagues made a reconnaissance trip across the Pamirs to the north of Pakistan. In the Karakoram, there are no terraces, but valleys hedged around by high peaks. The movement of tectonic plates causes frequent earth tremors. The plan is to bore 2 tunnels through the mountains by the new barrier lake. It's going to be an extremely difficult project. With a tight deadline, Zhao Yueqiao, as team leader, feels under immense pressure.
咱们现在这个新修的这个公路，它就是主要在沿着靠着这一侧湖的这岸，然后靠着山的这一侧而铺设的。从这个位置就开始进入了我们的隧道，是我们这儿的一个路桥4号隧道。这层咱们实际上能看得出来，很明显，咱们这个是以碎石为主，局部夹切块石。对，地层是这样判断的。
Under the Mustag Atta Peak, further disruption is taking place. A mudslide has caused the formation of another barrier lake, covering 3 square kilometers. The road is blocked again, and 20 vehicles were submerged in the flood. Along the highway, it's flanked by 100 peaks over 7,000 meters high, while glaciers can be seen all along the roadsides. With the road damaged, Wang Jianping has to postpone his departure. On this trip, he wants to take some time to visit his daughter in Urumqi, the capital of Xinjiang. He's bringing her cold noodles as a gift. Since he'll have to travel in the daytime across the scorching Taklimakan Desert, he packs the box with ice to keep the cold noodles from going bad. Wang Jianping's daughter, Wang Huan, lives and works in Urumqi. Working as a long-distance bus driver, he spent all too little time with his family. Before he knew it, his daughter has graduated from college and moved away from home to find work. Wang Huan is a pharmacist in a hospital in Urumqi. She has few memories of the time spent with her father.
大部分的时间都是我爸在家嘛，我爸经常出差不在家，连我爸自己都跟我妈说感觉我跟他特别陌生，回来我也不叫他。
说实在的，这个孩子我也觉得挺惭愧的，因为我跑车，在家的机会少，就照顾他，沟通的机会也少。
Yunggizar is an oasis by the Palmiers, 100 kilometers from Kashgar. In Yunggizar, there is a multicultural school which teaches darwaz, high-wire acrobatics. Chinese scholars in the Han Dynasty, 2,000 years ago, record the Uyghur skills in this field. "12-year-old Alim is the youngest student in the school. Every day, he has to undergo intensive stamina training, essential if he's really determined to become a darwaz artist. This school is supported by the Chinese government as part of its measures to revive traditional arts. The Young-Gizar Middle School is adjacent to the Darwaz School. In the classroom, the pupils are studying textbook heroes as the teacher tries to drum in the lesson about the spirit of collectivism. However, 14-year-old Yue Mar seems not to be concentrating. Instead of learning about heroes in a book, the Darwaz students are learning to become heroes for themselves.
Ma.
Failure is the first lesson they have to cope with. Today, Young-Gizar is the only place in China where the Darwaz tradition is alive and well. Once upon a time, all boys would undertake the training from an early age. Yue Mar loves Darwaz, and every day after class, he drops in at the Darwaz school next door. All the complex skills of this traditional art spring from a solid grounding in the basics. The school has made special plans for Alim, which will allow him to progress step by step. Before he takes his first step on the wire, he needs to practice on a steel tube. This will help him overcome the fear of walking in the air. As Yue Mar sees it, Alim's school life is a lot more interesting than his. Yue Mar dreams of becoming a Darwaz student like Alim. Gradually, the two boys become friends.
Aqlimni bilib dalim olayotganman. Aqlimni bilsam dalim olaman. Keyin fursat bo'lsa bir danq chiqqan yerimni qilib tirishman.
Yue Mar was born in a traditional Darwazi area. Before he began school, he had some elementary training, but it all seems to have escaped him now. He'll have to start again from scratch. After 2 days on the road, Wang Jianping finally arrives in Urumqi with his noodle offering.
胖了。平时静下来的后就想想，哎，有很多话想这样的卖，把这些 以前欠他们，想弥补一下，但是到真正见了面以后，和我想象就不一样了。
Like many Chinese parents, Wang Jianping believes that his hard work was all in order to give his child a better life. Urumqi is a city with a diverse culture encompassing 50 different ethnic groups. The Xinjiang Arts Institute was founded in 1958 and is one of the most important art schools in northwest China, with around 2,700 students. Professor Carl Lilly is 55 and teaches music at the Institute. He comes originally from another Silk Road country, Uzbekistan. He moved to Xinjiang 8 years ago with his wife, Svetlana. They've dedicated themselves to music education in China.
Men masalan yaxshimi yomonmi agar charchab bir xizmatdan charchab kelib jiddiylashib ketadigan bo'lsam, seloshi meni shu jiddiylashganini nima qiladigan, tubanlashtirib qo'yadigan gaplarni qiladi. Agar bir ayol bo'ladigan bo'lsa, jiddiylashgandan keyin yana unga bir bosim qoladigan bo'lsa, bu hayotni yashash kerak yo'q. Shuning uchun menimcha har bir odamning oilasida yaxshi ayoli yo yaxshi eri bo'ladigan bo'lsa, bundan ortiq baxt bo'lishi mumkin emas.
У вас только что концерт кончился, да? Проходил? Нет, репетиция была. Ты еще голодный, ты не кушал еще?
The professor has 2 children. Both of them work in the USA as music teachers, which make their parents very proud. Carl Lilly gives all the credit to his wife for his family success.
Да. Продолжаем свои традиции.
А вы хотели оба ее схватить. Вы тоже хотели, Гуля, дай мне. А вы говорите, нет, я подержу. Ну да. Ничего, Ренаточка подрастет немножко, кому-то ж надо коляску тоже помогать, качать. Да. Так что...
20 years ago, Carl Lilly fought in Afghanistan. He survived, but was left with a scar on his face. But the mental scars ran much deeper.
Urush degan narsa umuman dunyoda bo'lmasligi kerak. Insonni inson o'ldirish bu diniy tomondan ham qanday bir davlatda urush bo'ladimi yo boshqa narsa bo'ladimi? Bu menimcha
The greatest challenge is to conquer oneself, even more than the outside world. In days gone by, it was the dangers of the Silk Road that raised adventurers like Zheng Qian or Marco Polo to the level of heroes. In Pakistan, work on the Karakoram Highway is interrupted by a wave of anti-American demonstrations that spread across the country. Some demonstrations turn into riots. The situation is worrying for everybody. The real obstacles lie not in the rough roads, but in the chaos of the human heart. This is where East, South, and Central Asia all meet. The two great conquerors, Alexander the Great and Timur the Lame, Christopher Marlowe's Tambulane, took this route into India. But today's political climate in this region is as turbulent as the meteorological one can sometimes be. To ensure the safety of the Chinese engineers, the Pakistani police have offered to escort Zhao Yueqiao and his colleagues whenever they need to travel. Today, Zhao Yueqiao is going to Hunza, 100 kilometers away from the barrier lake, to buy essentials. Hunza is one of the most beautiful cities in northern Pakistan. Many Western travelers have labeled it a Shangri-La. It's a small piece of paradise in the freezing and desolate Palmiers. After doing the shopping, Zhao Yueqiao finds an internet cafe to talk to his sister.
我听不见你说话。
那就你自己说。想我了？
去年叔叔就说2-3个月，到现在还没到2个月呢。
春节前能回去就行了，别着急。
那过去得了，要马上西安过年去吧。巴基斯坦那个话语是不是要待1年都学会了？
说英语啊。
说英语啊。
As the political tensions abate, work on the highway recommences. The road between China and Pakistan is also known as the Friendship Highway. Meanwhile, back in China, people are to restore the road link through Bulunko village in Kashgar. After careful study of the situation, they decide to demolish an old bridge at the outlet of the barrier lake. The blast is a success. The floodwaters retreat, revealing the road and the trapped vehicles. The Silk Road functions, despite the worst nature can throw at it, thanks to the efforts of the many. In Urumqi, Carl passes on to his students everything he knows. In Yunggizar, Yue Mar braves a new challenge. Wang Jianping takes on all weathers on the world's highest highway. And Kashgar is released from its winter purdah. The Tajiks traditionally celebrate this auspicious moment with horse racing. With the roads restored, more and more visitors will come to Kashgar. As the tourist season comes to a peak, the county art troupe works overtime. Ali has to postpone his departure for the big city.
talantli san'atkor, ijodiyotchi, muzikant samsa degan orzu.
With the problem of the barrier lake at the foot of Muztagh Ata removed, Wang Jianping gets back on the road again. The whole journey will take 4 days if everything goes to plan. Pakistani merchant Malik has begun his new enterprise in Kashgar. Kashgar's economy has been growing at 15% per annum in recent times. Nearly 100,000 people in the city work as sole traders. Its 5 entry ports give access to 8 different countries. Every week, Malik meets friends from his hometown in a Pakistani restaurant. A few years of hard work have allowed Malik to buy his own stall in one of the markets. In addition to his perfumes, he begins to sell gold and silver jewelry from India and Pakistan, expanding his potential customer base. Malik's stall is located near the Iatgao Mosque, the biggest mosque in Xinjiang and one of the most famous in Central Asia. The area has long been a prosperous center for trade. All the goods shipped along the Silk Road will be traded here. Yunggizar is an oasis in the middle of the desert. The meltwater from the snowy peaks is nature's way of bestowing the gift of life. The summer vacation begins, Yue Mar's favorite time of the year. In the Darwa school, Perseverance has brought its rewards, and Alim has acquired the basic balance and stamina required to progress. Now it's time to take on new challenges. Over the next few years, both the height and length of the wire will be increased step by step. Intensive training will push Alim to become an excellent Darwaz artist. He will learn more and more complex skills before he conquers the wider world.
Non çıkarıp çıkarsan lan tanım. Ma davaz mektep qo'g'iz qabul qilyapti ekan. O'sha yerda o'qigan bati. Unda sen dadang birinchi ketdi bilan. Bu yerda dadang yo'q hozir. Kelgandan keyin maslahatlashib ana qarab qaraylik. Juma.
Mar has decided to do something bold. He's going to teach himself Darwaz. He has never walked on a pipe at this height before. Up above the roofs, every step is fraught with risk and danger. But he knows that Darwaz is all about breaking through these barriers. At the Xinjiang Arts Institute, one of Professor Karlili's students is performing in a graduation concert. This is what makes it all worthwhile. After the concert, the student offers his teacher a doper, a Uyghur hat, which is the highest level of tribute in Uyghur culture. Professor Karlili has found the life he wanted in China. the trauma of war heals slowly.
Fikrda bo'lgan. Xitoy davlati masalan eng qadim masalan dunyoda Grek davlati, Eron davlati bo'lgandan keyin Hindiston bo'lsa, Xitoy davlatlar bu qadimiy 1000 yillik tarixi bo'lgan davlat bo'lgandan keyin bundoq davlatlarga borib ko'rishni o'zi bir inson uchun bir baxt hisoblanadi.
Professor Carlilli has a new student. Ali has finally made it to the city. It wasn't easy for him to leave his wife and newborn child, but the chance to enroll at the institute was too good to miss. It's Ali's first singing lesson. The professor has found a number of basic problems in the way he uses his voice.
Şuydun taguz meydun tuzun kaltar ismune bana maktaba rav kavalak tava ve bana maktaba rav kavalak.
In the mountains of North Pakistan, the work on the highway is beginning to make progress. Within the year, this section of road will be back in action, and the barrier lake will be a barrier no more. Zhao Yue Chao is excited at the prospect of soon being able to return home.
Oh, here. Oh, this
is my house.
Yes.
Zhao Yue Chao has been invited by a family of local villagers to be their guest. The Pakistani people are deeply indebted to those Chinese engineers who have traveled so far from home to help them rebuild the road. The barrier lake, formed by the quake, flooded this family's house and land. They offer their guests the traditional South Asian-style tea, a sweet milky chai. With the efforts of all concerned, the village will soon be reconnected with the outside world.
Yes, chapati.
Further east down the highway, Wang Jianping is driving his usual route from China to Pakistan. Up at this altitude, the weather is always unpredictable. As he nears Kashgar, a heavy snow begins to fall. When he arrives at Kashgar at dusk, he decides to stay overnight. This is the hottest night spot in Kashgar. After a brief spell at Xinjiang Arts Institute, Ali has landed himself a spot on the bill. Kunji Rap, at 5,000 meters above sea level, is the highest point on the Karakoram Highway. Wang Jianping guides his passengers through the exit entry port. Its passengers are mainly road workers heading for Pakistan. They too are destined to work on the final stage of the highway repairs. As the project reaches its climax, a larger workforce is called for. For most of these workers, it's the first time they've been outside China. Even with the facilities of modern transport and technology, it's still a challenge to travel across the great mountain barriers of Central Asia. Political and geological turbulence, fears, real and imagined, as well as the rigors of weather and altitude, can all be obstructions on the modern Silk Road. However, in the end, nothing will stop the people who dare to pursue their dreams. This is what marks the beating pulse of the Silk Road in ages past, present, and yet to come. In the desert, the station staff take a train home every 4 days.
我们这都没区别。我们这周围都是黄国人员的，我从5局抽也是在黄国人员。
Some are driven to travel in pursuit of their dreams. For others, it's a matter of simple necessity.
阳关呢是青年古关。
Join us for part 3 of Silk Road. The journey goes on.